Hey, welcome to another episode of the Dray Way. I'm glad you're here. We have so much to talk about. We have to talk about Texas, we have to talk about Florida, and we have to talk about AI. Have you guys been messing around with AI? I mean, have you really done anything with it yet? Because I'll tell you what, I'm starting to mess around with this AI stuff, and it's amazing. If you haven't used ChatGPT, or there's another one out called Perplexity, and it is so cool. I just did a complete real estate contract. I gave the AI specifics and what I wanted, and a lot of specifics. And within seconds, I got a 12-page real estate contract with all the details in it. And I was sitting there going, wow. I mean, when you stop and think about it for a minute. Let me just ask you this. How long would it have taken your attorney to do the same thing? And what would they have charged you for it? I did it on AI literally in a few seconds, and it spit right out a perfect contract. And I'm just giving you one example. You know, I was asking it for information on branding ideas, on marketing ideas, and the more specific you are with AI, you will not believe the stuff that it spits out. And as I'm doing it, I'm just thinking to myself, in the next year or two, how many people are going to have their jobs just evaporate before our very eyes? I mean, when you stop and think about it and you look at how smart AI is, and I say how smart AI is, but you know, you have to become an expert on giving it prompts, because AI is only going to do what you tell it to do. So what you really have to do is you have to get really good with prompts. You have to get really good at and specific with what you want. And the contract was just one example. I then wanted, research done. I wanted information on branding. I wanted information on certain locations. And you will not believe the data that AI spits out. So if you haven't used it yet, just don't use ChatGPT. I started using a new one called Perplexity, and I can tell you Perplexity is so cool. And the more detail you give it, the more contracts I did, advertising I did, all my scheduling I did for the next month. So yeah, AI's come a long way. If you're using it, tell me in the comments what you're using it for. Please like and follow. As you can tell, I'm growing my channel. My name's Drayton. This is the Dray Way. Thanks for joining me today. We have a lot to talk about, and I just don't want to talk about AI. I wanted to talk a little bit about it because it's just, I have a feeling as the next couple of months go by, we're going to be talking about it more and more and more, because I think AI is just about as unlimited as it comes. And I just know a year or two from now, when I look back on talking in this video, I'm going to be like, wow, you had no idea what was coming. Because when I tell you AI is really, really advanced, and the amount of work it is able to do for you, especially, like I said, as I get better at doing the prompts, as I get better at giving it details, it steps right up and gives me all the information I need. So I can think of, I don't want to scare anybody, but I can think of a lot of jobs that are going to go to the wayside, because you can get so much done with AI. And like I said, by no means am I an AI expert yet at doing the prompts. I'm still learning as I go along, but please go to Perplexity AI. This isn't an advertisement. This isn't a promo or anything else like that. By the way, we do have an advertiser for the channel. It's ulurx.com. I'm going to put a link in my bio for you to check out ulurx.com. And I'll get into more of that in a little bit. But first, before we go much further, I've got to talk about Florida. Real estate in Florida has has jumped the shark, so to speak, because now you have all the condo situation. What the situation is with the condos is all these older condos that are 3 stories and taller, some of them are just getting bought out because trying to catch up with the HOA, because some of these, in order for these condos to get caught up and be fully funded so they can do, they can complete repairs, you're talking about millions and millions of dollars. So developers are just buying out some of these condos, and some of these condo owners are finding out that they have to come up with $50, $70, even $100,000. And we both know that's not going to happen. But it's not just condos. I've been really taking a look at the rental market, particularly in Southwest Florida and down in Miami. The rental market looks really bad. There are, just like in Sarasota County, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of homes for rent. And guess what? If you see a lot of the houses that have been rent for months and months and months, they have dropped the prices 3 and 4 times. 3 and 4 times. And you know what's happened? They're sitting. And this is the thing you need to understand about real estate. The prime time for real estate is 5 more weeks. That's it. 5 more weeks. Like I tell people all the time, once you get to July 4th, real estate is essentially done. Now, are there still going to be sales? Of course. But the main thrust of real estate is over after July 4th, because after July 4th, everybody starts talking about going back to school, because a lot of kids across the country go back to school in August. So here they are going back to school in August. And so July 4th is really back to school, get new clothes. I have a 7-year-old boy, so I know he's getting ready for 3rd grade. And I promise you, after July 4th, you're going to hear about 4th of July sales. And then the very next day after the 4th of July, it's back to school, back to school, back to school. So what all is going on in Florida? Florida only has a few more weeks left, but just looking at all the price cuts, thousands and thousands of price cuts for rent, and now it's starting to affect home prices. You can see home prices throughout Florida starting to drop. But that's not the only story. The story is inventory is soaring, and it's not done yet. If you think inventory went up in April, wait till you see May, June, July. The numbers are going to be staggering. We're going to be approaching inventory levels that we haven't seen since the last crash. And with inventories rising like that and pressure on prices with rents falling, because right now in Florida, it is a much, much better deal to rent than it is to buy right now in Florida. If you have to go to Florida, now is the time to rent. You can find rental homes available. You certainly don't want to be paying these astronomical prices, knowing full well that over the next 2-3 years, home prices in Florida are going to continue dropping. Now let's talk about Texas. This is what's going on in Texas real estate. Texas real estate has taken it on the nose, and it's just starting to show. It's starting to show in Austin. It's starting to show in Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. And when I say starting to show, have you seen the amount of inventory available in Dallas and Houston and San Antonio and Austin, Texas? Austin, Texas right now still has thousands and thousands of apartments coming onto line right now. I mean, it's happening right now. So here, all these places are coming onto line, and it's like inventory keeps going up and up and up. So what you're going to see in Texas, in Austin, and Houston prices are falling already. San Antonio, Texas, prices are falling already. And right now in Dallas is overvalued by 34%. Think about that. 34%. Please like and follow the channel. We've got a lot more real estate to talk about here. But I do want to talk about something other than real estate, something that's going on right now that has my attention, and I feel I've got to talk about it. So that's enough about real estate right now. Let's talk about the other thing in the news right now. The big thing in the news for the past few weeks has been Scottie Scheffler, the number one golfer in the world, was going to the PGA tournament in the morning just a few days ago and was arrested. He was arrested almost immediately upon stopping for traffic. Apparently someone had passed away not too far away, and they were redirecting traffic. And, a guy that wasn't exactly dressed as a cop, he just had a yellow raincoat on, was pointing and shouting to him. So he drove around him, and the guy freaked out, ran towards the car, and banged the side of the car. But that's not what he said. The cop in his report said he got dragged to the ground. That didn't happen. None of that happened. And before they could even ascertain or ask the man where he was going, who he was, anything, they had him out of the car and in handcuffs in minutes. And I wanted to talk about this because it's just another example of police officers acting too quick. Now, I think we've all seen the other, you had an airman come to the door in his own apartment and with a gun in his hand pointing downward, and a cop that was knocking on the wrong door. As the airman opened the door, the cop just drew and just fired 7 shots right into him. I mean, like that fast. And when are we going to start talking about this? When are we going to start acknowledging that, the police are doing wrong? And we need the police to step up and go, you know what, this is wrong. Just like Scottie Scheffler, I mean, I'm not comparing someone getting shot to Scottie Scheffler, but I'm just saying it's another incident where things just go too far too fast. And what's not being accountable is the police officers are not being held accountable. And they need to be. Because in that police report, the golfer, against the golfer saying, oh, I hurt my wrist and my knee, I scraped when the car dragged me to the ground, that's a lie. That didn't happen. Your story of what you put in your report, that's not the truth. That's not what happened. And so if part of it's a lie, the whole thing is a lie. And this is not the first time that cop has been suspended. It's not the second time he's been suspended. He's been suspended multiple times. So why is he still a police officer? Why is he still being paid today? I don't understand it. I don't understand why police officers that continue to make mistakes continue to serve. At some point we have to have the police taking accountability, because what happens over and over again, just like Louisville said they did an internal study and found no wrongdoing. Baloney. No one believes that. No one believes that. And I'm not saying police don't have an extremely hard job. I don't want the job. I don't want the job. All right? I know you have a hard job. But there's too many police officers that demonstrate they don't have what it takes. And if you can't demonstrate you have what it takes, then you need to not be a police officer. Because too many people are dying. Too many people are getting injured. Too many people are getting hurt at the hands of police officers. You're supposed to be there to protect and to serve. And it's not happening. And I know it sounds like a rant, but I felt I needed to say something about this, because I think we all need to say something about it, because enough is enough. Let me know your thoughts, comment, and tell me what your experiences are, and tell me what you think. I'd love to hear it. And don't forget, subscribe. Subscribe right now. More to come. Stay with me. Thanks for hanging around. I want to talk to you about one more thing. This is at the end. I love to tell you guys a story, but instead of telling you a story this time, I'm going to ask for your help. Yeah, I want to get your help because I've had miniature schnauzers most of my life, and I lost my Roxy about 2 years ago. And Roxy I had for almost 17 years. And when I lost her, it was devastating. I'm sure, you guys, if you're dog lovers, you've lost a dog, and when you lose a dog, it really is like losing someone in the family, isn't it? It's hard to put into words to people unless you're a dog person. If you're a dog person, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not a dog person, you're probably looking at me like I'm crazy. But what I want to ask you is, I think I'm ready for a dog. I think I'm ready to have a dog again. But the question is I want your guys' opinion. What kind of dog should I get next? And just so you know, I don't want something over 35 pounds. So don't give me suggestions on any dog over 35 pounds. I want to keep it to 35 pounds or less. So if you have a suggestion, if you have an idea of a dog that I would love to have, let me know what your experience is in the comments. Tell me why. I just want to know why. Why you would choose a particular dog, which one would you choose, and why would you choose that dog? Maybe you have 10, 20, 30 years experience with that type of dog, but just tell me what you think makes that particular breed of dog special. Because I'm looking again, and I'm open, and I thought I'd ask you guys, because so many of you out there are so smart, and you've had dogs, and you've had great experiences. So please share in the comments. Tell me what dog you think I should get, and remember, 35 pounds or less. And as usual, thanks for joining me on the Dray Way. This is episode 6. 5 more episodes if you haven't seen them, so check them out. Like I said, I'm on episode 6. Episode 7 is coming up right behind me, and I'll get better at it soon. But thank you for joining me, and if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Make every day a great day. Have a good one. Goodbye, everybody.